Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on the screen. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on the screen. Those are attending in online, please confirm to me, guys. Everybody, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on the screen. Oh, thank you, thank you. Okay. Right, sir. And check it what we completed in the last session. Right. In the last session, just given introductory part for like web applications and distributed applications. All the related content here are given. Don't worry, still I have not added the diagram there. Maybe today I will add the diagram. I think one diagram is not available in my system. It's available to my home system. There I will add the diagram to you. Yeah, try to understand it. So now the content is like what we provided here. All right. Okay. So differences between web applications and distributed applications. This topic we understood already. Now, if you observe this enterprise application, if we design and execute any application on the basis of client server architecture or by distributing application logic over multiple machines, then that application is called an enterprise application. There are two types of enterprise applications. What are the two types of enterprise applications now? Web applications, distributed applications. Then what are the differences between web applications and distributed applications? Web application is a client server application where the complete application logic is distributed at server machine only. But a distributed application is a client server application where the complete application logic is distributed over multiple machines. In the case of web applications, the client is fixed, that is browser. But in distributed applications, client is not fixed. It may be a Java program with main method. It may be a GUI application, or it may be a web application with a servlets and JSPs, or it may be a framework application like Struts, JSF, or a Spring application. To prepare web applications, we will use a set of technologies called web technologies like servlets, JSPs, and so on. To prepare distributed applications, we will use a set of technologies called distributed technologies. What are the various examples for distributed technologies here? Socket programming, RMI, CoreBOM, EJBs, web services, and so on. The main intention of the web applications is to generate dynamic response from the server machine. The main purpose of the distributed applications is to establish communication between local machine and a remote machine in order to access remote services from the local machine. In order to access remote services from the remote machine, not local machine. Local, that means the main purpose of the distributed applications is to establish communication between local machine and remote machine in order to access remote services from the remote machine at a local machine. That means remote services are available at remote machine. From local machine, we are going to access them. From local machine, we are able to access the remote services from remote machine. Okay, fine. Web applications are executed by both the web servers and application servers, whereas distributed applications are executed by only application servers. Web application is the combination of web components like servlets, JSPs, and so on, which are executed by the web containers like servlets container, JSP container, and so on. But distributed application is a combination of the distributed components like EJB components and so on, which are executed by the EJB container. Then examples are given. What is web application? This is web application. This is like what their distributed application. But note kind of point I have given there. This is important point. What is that note here? To prepare an enterprise application, we have to use both the web application and distributed application. Web development aligned with the distributed application. That is both we required. If we provide both of them, then only we are able to get the content. Next one is, after this, one example I have given. Where is web application and where is distributed application? This is browser and this is Durgasoft.com. This part is web. The remaining total part is what the distributed environment. In a client server applications, there are two types of responses. What are the two types of responses here in a client server architecture? One is static response, another one is what the dynamic response. What is static response actually? Static response is a response generated by the server side application as a common response for every user request of the same resource. The request is coming for same resource, but same resource will be shared to every user, but every time same response. An example here I have given there. Okay, in client server applications, servers are able to generate static responses without executing any resource at server machine or without without performing any action at a server machine. Example is what there, generating a login page for every user when they access www.facebook.com or gmail.com or whatever it may be. So many websites are available. If we access them, automatically we are able to get what their login page. Then that is what their static response. Is that got it or not? Right, sir. Next one is, what about this dynamic response now? Dynamic response is the response generated by the server side application as an individual different response for each and every user request of the same resource. But multiple users are submitting requests for the same resource, but that resource is generating different responses for the users on the basis of their input data. So this is exactly called as like what their dynamic response. In client server applications, servers are able to generate dynamic responses by executing a particular server side resource or by performing an action at server side application. Now here we are providing examples. What is that example here we are giving here? Understand this clearly. In a Facebook login page, if we enter username and password and if we submit a request to the Facebook application, then the Facebook application is able to generate user respective profile page as a response. Alright, sir. Users respective profile space. Generate the users respective profile space as a response. It is dynamic response. That's it. They are the points here we understood clearly about this content here. What is the static response and what is the dynamic response? Here we understood clearly. Now. That's okay, fine. I want to give some points to you now. Try to understand it clearly. Listen carefully. In client server applications, to generate dynamic response from server machine, in a client server applications to generate dynamic response from server machine, we have to perform an action at server machine. Okay, that means we have to perform an action at server machine. Observe carefully. To perform an action at server machine, we have to perform an action at server machine, we have to execute a program at server mission. We have to execute a program at server mission. Okay. Here the server side program is called, instead of saying that program, I want to say that we have to execute an application at server mission. Here the server side application, here the server side application is called web application. The server side application is called as what there? Web application. Sir, got it or not? Okay. Next, I'm telling one more point. Try to understand it clear. Right, sir. In general, to prepare web applications, we will use a set of technologies called web technologies. In general, to prepare web applications, we will use a set of technologies called web technologies. Examples for web technologies are like what there? CGI, servlets, JSPs, and so on and so on and so on. CGI, servlets, JSPs, and so on. All these are like what their web technologies to prepare web applications. Straightforward question for everybody. What exactly the purpose of servlets and JSPs? By seeing these two lines of data, we can understand easily. What is the purpose of these servlets and JSPs? Come on. First of all, what I said to you, to prepare web applications, we will use a set of technologies called web technologies. Examples are what there? Servlets and JSPs. That's nice. Servlets and JSPs are used to prepare what applications now? Web applications. Okay. Coming to this point here. To generate a dynamic response from server missions, we have to perform an action at server mission. To perform an action at server mission, we have to execute an application at server mission. Here the server side application is called as what there? Web application. That means web application is for what purpose there? Web application is for what purpose there? Dynamic response. Got it or not? Okay. Now, servlets and JSPs are used to prepare web applications. Servlets and JSPs are used to prepare what applications? No, web application. But this web application can be used to generate what there? Dynamic response. So my conclusion is what there? The main purpose of the servlets and JSPs. The main purpose of the servlets and JSPs are used to create web applications in order to generate dynamic response from web applications, from server mission. Dynamic response from what missions? Server missions. That's it. The main purpose of the servlets and JSPs are used to create web applications in order to generate dynamic response from server mission. This is a clear-cut information here. We can understand. Servlets and JSPs are used to prepare web applications. That web applications can be used to generate what their dynamic response. But understand one more point. HTML, CSS are used to create web applications, but they are for the sake of what response? No, static response. In web applications, we can generate static response and dynamic response. Static response we are able to get with HTML pages and CSS now. But dynamic response we are able to get with what there? Servlets and JSPs. That's the requirement here we have to understand. Okay, fine. That HTML and all the things are not required now. Leave this one. Now coming to the point. All of you observe carefully. Coming to the point. That's it. Coming to the point. We have one important interview question. My question is to prepare web applications. We have already CGI. Then what is the requirement to use servlets? Indirectly, I'm asking the question like what are the differences between servlets and CGI? What are the differences between servlets and CGI? This is a question here I'm asking to you. Now try to understand it clearly. First of all, we need to understand some points now. CGI, but if you are not aware about this abbreviation, no, Common Gateway Interface. CGI is what the Common Gateway Interface. Okay, fine. Is a server-side technology. Server-side technology to prepare web applications. Okay, nice. After that, it's okay. But the point is what? It was designed on the basis of C programming language and some scripting languages. Come on, understand this point here. Some scripting languages. Which one it is? It's their internal content, but observe carefully after this. Common Gateway Interface is a server-side technology to prepare web applications. It was designed on the basis of C programming language and some scripting languages. Clear? Now, coming to this point. C programming language is a process-based programming language. Am I right? C programming language is what their process-based programming language. So CGI is also a process-based server-side technology. All of you are following this point or not? Very simple. CGI is a server-side technology to prepare web applications. It was designed on the basis of C programming language and some scripting languages. C programming language is a process-based programming language. So CGI is also a process-based server-side technology. Okay, up to that it's okay. It's a process-based technology. So what is the problem with this? Server-side is a process-based technology. Then what is the problem with this? Now I'm giving that information to you. Now try to understand it clearly. All right, sir. Next point here, what I'm telling there, if we, or else maybe, if we submit a request to a CGI application, if we submit request to a CGI application, then the container, observe carefully, then the container will create a separate process for each and every request. Container will create a separate process for each and every request which are coming from clients. Understand my point here? If we submit request to a CGI application, then the container, which container? No, say for example, CGI container. Already yesterday I given some points. In general, server-side programs are executed by the servers. More clearly, inside the servers, who will execute server-side programs? No, container. Container. To execute CGI components, no, separate container is available. That container is what there? CGI container. So for every request coming from the client, CGI container will create a separate process for each and every request which are coming from clients. Get my point or not? Okay, fine. And let me show one point here. Later I will give some other content. No? Understand this clearly? That's it. All of you observe carefully. For example, this is server side application. Okay, this is like what the server side application, web application. Inside this web application, we are going to have a CGI component, just like servlet. Here we are having number of instructions are available. Okay, all right. After completion of this, here we are having server or container, both are same now. All right, now observe carefully. Now here we are having number of clients. CGI container, number of clients are available. Now say for example, this is client 1 and this is like what their client 2 and this is like what their client 3. Like this number of clients are available. Now each and every client is submitting request to like what their CGI container, maybe at a time or maybe multiple times. Number of requests, different requests are submitted to the CGI container for the sake of the same CGI component. Now here I want to say like what there. Now this is what we have to provide there, N. Now here this is the meaning of like what there, request 1. Now this is like what the request 2 and so on. This is like what the request again. Number of requests are generated. When we submit multiple requests, what this CGI container is able to do now, it is able to create a separate process for handling this request. Then separate process will be created. Separate process like this will be created. Multiple processes. Now this is like what their P1 process. This is like what their P2 process, and this is like what their P3 process. For each and every request, a separate process will be created for like what they to handle this particular CGI component. Process in the sense flow of executions we can understand. Got or not? Okay, fine. This is what exactly the meaning of like what their CGI component. Okay, fine. Now here, observe carefully the point here what I am telling to you. If you submit request to a CGI application, then the CGI container will create a separate process for each and every request which are coming from clients. Now the actual point I'm telling you, try to understand the actual problem here. Where process is heavyweight, process is what the heavyweight, it will take more processing time and more memory. When it takes more processing time, what about the performance? No, it will reduce the server side applications performance or not. It will reduce what the server side applications performance. That's the problem. Everybody understand this point clearly. If you submit request to a CJ component, then the CJ container will create a separate process for each and every request which is coming from clients. Where process is heavyweight, it will take more processing time and more memory. It will reduce the server side applications performance. This is what exactly the meaning of what there CGI. And one more small note here I'm telling there, observe carefully. Okay, that's it. What is this? One more point here I'm telling to you, observe carefully. One more point, no type of point, no. CGI is a more error prone technology. Come again, what's the point I said to you? CGI is a more error prone technology. What is the meaning of it? No, it will create more errors. It will create what there? More number of errors. That means chances are more to get number of errors. And so my point or not, even if you write 2 lines of code, 10 lines of code, 100 errors will come. Just like C programming language. Yes, sir. Are you getting my point or not? In C programming language, in general, what we are able to do now? I had one funny situation actually in my BTech regarding that. In general, in the C programming language, what is going to be happen there? When we compile the program, at a time we may get a 60, 70, 80, 100 errors we are able to get. If we go to the code, if we remove one line of code, 30 errors will be gone. Again, if we remove one more line, remaining 15 errors will be gone. Like this, if we remove the code, number of errors will be reduced. That means what is the meaning of it now? In a single line, so many errors get we are able to get. That's the problem. This is the meaning of like what there, more error prone technology. Sir, got it or not? In my BTech first year, we have a lab actually, C and data structures lab. BTech first year in the sense, first time we have seen that engineering colleges directly from Telugu medium to English medium, directly we have seen that computer. First time I have seen in my college only. Before that, we are not having computer. There is no chance. Completely from a village background, right? There is a chance of saying that computers and all these things, no. So not possible. Then first time, then we went there. We have not even, we don't know how to do the labs there. But directly within 1 month of time, we have labs. Then we went to the lab, some practice we have done, but we don't know what we have to do there. Finally, they have conducted some practicals on it, C and data structures. Unfortunately, I got a question like what there, prepare stack operations, menu driven application, push pop like these operations. It seems it's very simple, but by the time it is somewhat difficult. Okay, finally he has given a paper to me. First to write, we have to write the program. They will check the program. If they permit it, then only we have to take the system, then only we have to prepare the application. That is the situation there. They asked to me write something. We have written something. Of course, my C faculty is somewhat strict. We are completely against to him. Then colleges, you know already that what is going to happen. And then what happened there? That records time he has given some irritation. Labs time again irritation. He has given that program. I wrote that program, but what I written it, I don't know. I submitted there. Then he said to me, "Are you sure about this program?" Yes, I'm sure. Go ahead, write a program. Prepare program then. I went there. I have taken the program. Menu-driven application. Like what I have done there, I have written some code. What I have written, I don't know. I have written that code. Finally came to me. Last 5 minutes after him came to me. Show your output. I compiled the program. Then before that, before came, I compiled the program where almost 200 plus number of errors I got. So what I have done there, I opened the program. In the errors, if I see there, at only one line, almost 50 or 6 number of errors I seen. Okay, I went there, I removed that line. 50 errors are gone. My thinking is what there, at least if I reduce the number of errors, no, they may satisfy, they make you at least pass marks. So I'm working for reducing number of errors. Like this, I seen some lines there where more number of errors are coming. I removed that lines now. Automatically more number of errors are reduced. Finally, almost all the errors are reduced there. I removed there. But at finally, I've seen in my program, no statement is remaining. Then it came to me, where is your program there? But when he executed the program, I display menu clearly. What's that menu I got there? Program is executed successfully. There I got the menu like what there? menu, number one push, number two pop, enter element. Okay, he enter one push, enter push. Okay, push success. And enter might be next one, second one pop, enter pop. Okay, we are providing that. I written that program, I executed that program. But he opened the program. What he identified there, printf, enter element, printf, push success, printf, pop success. That's it. Only printfs only. No logic. Only printfs. Fine, of course. I'm very sure about it. They will not fail me. If they fail me, who is going to get bad reputation? No, the college will get bad reputation. Right? Successfully be passed in that exam. Stamp marks, exact marks, not 100% marks. No, right, sir. That's why then understand here the point is what in a single line more number of errors we are getting. So this type of technologies are called as what they are more error prone technologies. So CGI was designed on the top of the C programming language. So more chances are available to get errors. More chances are available to get what their errors. That's the problem. That's why nobody is using this particular technology nowadays. Okay. Now coming to the servlets. This part, okay, we understood this clearly. What are the differences between CGI and the servlets is a topic. CGI we understood. Now we have to go with what their servlets. What exactly the meaning of servlet now? Now try to understand some points about the servlets now. Observe carefully. Servlets is a server-side technology. Server-side technology to prepare web applications. To prepare what their web applications. Now tell me, listen carefully. Here the same points here are given now. CGI is a server-side technology to prepare web application. Then what next one? It was designed on the basis of what programming language? No, C programming language and some scripting languages. Similarly, servlets is a server-side technology. Server-side, right? Technology to prepare web applications. It was designed. It was designed on the basis of Java programming language. It was designed on the basis of what programming language there? Java programming language. It was designed on the basis of what there? Java programming language. That's okay, fine. Tell me here, where Java is a process-based programming language or thread-based programming language? Come on, Java is what there? Thread-based programming language. Where Java is a thread-based programming language. Java is what there? A thread-based programming language. Okay, fine. So servlets. So servlets is also a thread-based programming language. Observe carefully. Servlets is also a thread-based programming language. Sorry, thread-based technology, not programming language. Wrong statement. Thread-based technology. Thread-based server-side technology. Okay, good. Then what is the meaning of it? No, is a server-side thread-based technology. It's okay. Then what else? What next one? Next one will be like what I'm telling to you. If we submit request to a servlet component in web applications, if we submit a request to a servlet component in web applications, servlet container, what container? No, servlet container will create a separate servlet container will create a separate thread, separate what there? Thread, not process, a separate thread to handle separate thread for each and every request. For each and every request coming from clients. For each and every request coming from client. Everybody understand this clearly? If we submit request to a servlet component in web applications, servlet container will create a separate thread for each and every request coming from client. All of you get my point or not? Okay, fine. All right, sir. Now observe carefully. I want to prepare another diagrammatic representation. By that we are able to get some clarity. All right, sir. For example, this is my web application. Inside this web application, we have a servlet component. Servlet component. Here we are able to write what the number of finish sections. Okay, fine. Now here we are having a container, servlet container or whatever it may be, servlet container. Now here we are having multiple clients. Servlet container. Now here we can understand this is like what their client one. This is like what their client one, client two. Now client n, client n. When we submit multiple requests to the servlet container for the same servlet component, now here directly we can use like what there, this is a request 1, request 2 and so on, request n. Okay, multiple requests can be provided. Now what is going on here? When we submit multiple requests to the servlet container, now tell me, servlet is a Java based technology or not? Java is an object oriented programming language or not? So for servlet, first of all, for the servlet component, an object will be created. What is created here? Object will be created. This is what servlet object. Servlet object is created. Then for each and every request, a separate thread will be created instead of process. A separate thread will be created instead of what their process, and so on and so on. Another thread will be created. This is like what the T1. Now this is T2 and so on and so on and so on. This is like what the T3. Servlet object is created. For each and every request, a separate thread will be created. So all of you are getting it or not? Now tell me, understand this. No, this is in the case of like what the servlets. This is going on in the case of like what the servlets. But I will give a point. No, try to understand it clearly. It will create separate thread for each and every request coming from client. Now understand it clearly. In general, threads are lightweight. When compared with process, thread is what they're lightweight. It will take less memory and less execution time. It will take less memory and less execution time. In general, threads are lightweight. It will take less memory and less execution time. So it will improve server side applications performance. It will improve what the server side applications performance. Now tell me, by this we can understand which one is suggestible. Is it CGI or servlets? Servlets, always servlets are suggestible when compared with what their CGI. That's the point I'm telling there. In general, threads are lightweight. It will take less memory and less execution time. It will improve server-side applications performance. Right? Now this is a representation here. We can understand clearly. Good. Now this is the total awareness on like what their CGI and servlets. Their comparison clearly. Now once again I'm asking one question there. Try to answer for it. What is the purpose of the servlets actually? To prepare web applications in order to generate dynamic response. CGI purpose is also the same, but the difference is what the servlets are best solution. Servlets are best when compared with what their CGI. Okay, leave this punch. Next one is after this we have a question. What about our question here? Understand it clearly. What are the differences between, or else maybe to prepare web applications, we have already servlets. Then what is the requirement to use JSPs? What is the requirement to go for JSPs? Or simply what I'm asking there, what are the differences between servlets and JSPs? Still I'm telling there, question I have written like this, but my question is what there, to prepare web applications, already we have servlets, then what is the requirement to go for JSPs? That's my question now. But if you want to answer for this particular question, we need to understand some concepts previously. One small view I'm going to provide to you. Now try to understand this clearly now. Right side. Observe carefully. All of you, observe carefully. Previously, 10 years back, if you observe this, two technologies, two programming languages are very much demanded. Two programming languages are competitors. One is .NET, other one is Java. But at present, .NET is gone almost all. Java is okay, having the same same type of demand. But initially, at the starting point of that means 10 years back, if you observe this, both the programming languages are going on good in outside. Both are in competition. Really, I'm telling them. By the time, in my classes, in Durgasoft only, in a single class, 1,000 members, 1,200 members. In a .NET also, some other trainer, same 700 members, 800 members, 1,000 members like this. By the time, I'm telling them. Clear. One more point I'm telling to you. There initially some competition is going on between two organizations in softwares. One is Microsoft, another one is what there non-Microsoft. Two communities are available. Microsoft community, another one is what there non-Microsoft community. Under this non-Microsoft community, who are the leading vendors now? Oracle, IBM, or next one here, like Red Hat systems, like all these are like what are the leading vendors in non-Microsoft community. Okay, fine. They have the competitive related products, competitive products. Example, Microsoft has provided Windows operating system. In a non-Microsoft community, number of operating systems are available. Linux operating system, Unix operating system, Solaris operating system, Mac. Understand it clearly. Next one is from Microsoft. .NET is a technology or language. From non-Microsoft related thing, no. Sun Microsystems, Java, competitor. From Microsoft, SQL Server database. From non-Microsoft, Oracle database, MySQL database. See, almost some cold war is going on between both the communities. At that moment, .NET is from Microsoft, Java from Sun Microsystems. Clear or not? Both are going on good. Both are having competition. By the time full-fledged Java is not available, full-fledged .NET is available. Up to some part of the .NET, some part of the Java is available. By using the available .NET, developers are preparing some applications. They have prepared some applications. At the same time, by using the available Java, some developers are preparing some applications. At both the sides, developers are preparing applications by using both the technologies. One fine day, what happened? Microsoft identified a problem with the developers. What problem they identified initially with Microsoft? No, developers, those who are using .NET, they're facing the problem is like what they need too much technical stuff to prepare the applications by using the available .NET. If they use the available .NET, they require too much technical stuff. They have to use too much technical content to prepare the applications. Same over Java, at Java. In Java side also, same up to the available Java, if they use there to prepare applications, no, they require too much technical stuff. At both the side, developers are facing the problem. But initially Microsoft has identified that. Then Microsoft decided they want to provide solution for their .NET developers. They want to provide solution for their .NET developers. What solution they want to provide there? Without having any technical stuff, easily you can prepare the applications. You can prepare the web applications easily without having any technical stuff. In that way, they want to prepare some enhancements over the .NET. Finally, they released one product. They released one technology to prepare the web applications without having too much technical stuff. Then that product or that technology is called as ASP.NET. ASP.NET, Active Server Pages. ASP.NET. The moment when ASP.NET was released, everybody they're diverted to work with what their ASP.NET only. By the time, if you know the abbreviation for ASP, that's enough to get job in software companies. That's enough to take a flight to USA. By the time the situation was happened like that, just ASP.NET changed a lot in the development area. Automatically, gradually, what happened there? The Java developers, those who are facing that problem, like too much technical stuff is required, they're also be diverted to work with what their ASP.NET. Then obviously Java loses its customers or not? Sun Microsystems loses their customers or not? Non-Microsoft community is thinking about it or not? Then Sun Microsystem is not silent by the time. Sun Microsystem thought of it. They want to release similar product, but which simplifies the web application development. Then immediately Sun Microsystems has released a product, and Sun Microsystems has announced something like what they, if you want to prepare web applications without knowing Java, without having knowledge on Java, if you want to prepare web application, we are preparing one simple tool, a simple technology. Use this technology, then you can prepare web applications without having knowledge on Java. Like this, they are giving some announcement, they are giving some technology. The name of the technology is what? JSP, Java Server Pages. At Microsoft site, ASP, Active Server Pages. At the Sun Microsystem site, JSP, Java Server Pages. The moment when JSP was introduced, previously the Java developers, those who diverted to work with ASP.NET now, again they come back to the JSP, and again not only that, some other developers are also be coming back to the Java side. That means JSP technology. Understand, sir, what I'm telling you? Here I don't require the comparison between ASP and JSP. I don't require the comparison between like Sun Microsystems and Microsoft. Here I require the comparison between servlets and JSPs. I require the comparison between servlets and JSPs. The point is what I'm telling to you, if we want to prepare web applications by using servlets, then we must have very good knowledge on Java. Servlet is a Java class. Servlet is a Java program. You must have very good knowledge on Java. Previously I said to you, Java developers are facing the problem like, if they want to prepare web applications with the available technology, they must have very good technical stuff, very good Java knowledge. Now that available technology is what their servlets only. So by using servlets, if we want to prepare web applications, there we must use very good stuff on Java. We must have very good knowledge in Java. But if you want to prepare the web applications by using JSP, Java server pages, even a single bit of Java is also not required. Even a single bit of Java knowledge is also not required. Immediately we may get a question, sir, what is the requirement to learn core Java now? These many months of time we wasted totally. What is the requirement of learning all this stuff? Now we are giving a bomb blast. Wait 2 minutes of time. You'll understand it. Why you learn it? I'll give more clarity. Okay. My first point I given there. What is that first difference here? Now tell me. If you want to prepare web applications by using servlets, then we must have very good stuff in Java. We must have very good stuff in Java. That means very good knowledge in Java. Then only we are able to prepare it. All right, sir. Then what next one here apart from this? No. If we want to prepare web applications, you also wants to know. Good. If we want to prepare web applications by using JSP, then it is not required to have any knowledge in Java. It is not required to have any knowledge in Java. Without having Java knowledge, you can prepare the web applications. Then it is not required to have any knowledge in Java. That is the very first point here, what I am telling you. All right, sir. One small note I am telling you. Please recognize this note. I am going to talk about this note number of times. All right. The main purpose of JSP technology is to reduce Java code as much as possible in web application development. That's it. Is it? All of you get my point or not? What I said to you, the main purpose of JSP technology is to reduce Java code as much as possible in web application development. JSP is against to the Java code in web application development. JSP is against to the Java code in web application development. That's the main intention of JSP technology. It's the main purpose of the JSP technology. Guys, all of you are following or not? That's it. That's okay, fine. After this, point number 2, understand it clearly. Can I prepare the total web application by using only servlets? No. Can I prepare the complete web application by using only JSPs? Again, no. That's the point I'm telling there. If you want to prepare web applications effectively, both we require. If you want to prepare web applications effectively, both we require. Both servlets and JSPs, both we require. Then only we are able to prepare web applications effectively. Understand my point clearly? Okay, but the question is, where we are going to use servlets in web applications and where we are going to use JSPs in web applications? That's the question. In which situations we are going to use servlets, in which situations we are going to use JSPs, that point here we have to understand. So I'm giving some clarity. Now try to understand it now. In web applications, what's up? In web applications, everybody understand this clearly. In web applications, we will use servlets. We will use the servlets at the locations where we will take a request from client, where we will process that request, that's it. Observe carefully. In web applications, we will use servlets at the locations where we are able to, where clients are submitting requests, or maybe where server side application is receiving requests, we're processing that request. So where locations where we will take the request from clients, where we will process that request, those requests. At the location where to take the request, to process the request, there we are going to use what there? Servlets. Sir, all of you are getting my point or not? So in web applications, servlets are used at the locations where server is able to get requests from client, where server is able to process the request. That means indirectly what I am telling there, to pick up the request, to process the request, to pick the request from clients and to process that request, whatever the requests which are coming from the clients. That is the utilization of like what there? Servlets. Okay, nice, good. But where we are able to use JSPs actually, now, observe carefully. In web applications, we will use JSPs at the locations where we will generate dynamic response with very good look and feel. Where we will generate the dynamic response to the client with a very good look and feel. Understand it clearly? Come again, there's a lot of meaning in this statement, no? In web applications, we will use servlets at the locations where we will take the request from clients, where we will process the request. In web applications, we will use JSPs at the locations where we will generate the dynamic responses with a very good look and feel. Got it or not? Okay, fine. The same point in a different way, I'm telling there. In web applications, servlets are mainly for processing the request. Processing the request in the sense executing business logic, processing the request. Next one is in web applications, JSPs are mainly for presentation, mainly for what their presentation or for response generation. JSPs are mainly for what purpose? Their presentation or response generation. So, all of you are getting it or not? Okay, fine. Now, I'm asking one question to all of you. Try to answer for it, everybody. Now, the point is like what I'm telling to you. Now, tell me, what is MVC? Any idea? MVC. Model View Controller. Abbreviation is okay. But what is it actually? What is this? What it is providing now? Listen carefully. MVC is a design pattern. MVC is what there? A design pattern. It will provide a template to prepare web applications. And it will define where to use servlets, where to use JSPs, where to use Java Bean components. It will define that locations also clear. Sir, all of you are getting my point or not? So MVC is a design pattern. It will provide a predefined template to prepare web applications. Before this MVC, developers can prepare the web applications in a zigzag manner. No specific locations for using servers, no specific locations for using JSPs, nothing. But MVC has given a clear-cut definition where we have to use servlets, where we have to use JSPs, where we have to use Bean components with some flow of execution, the standard flow of execution. Some standardization was provided by MVC design pattern. Got or not? Good. On the basis of MVC design pattern, number of frameworks are also available. MVC frameworks are available. Struts is one of the MVC based framework. JSF is one of the MVC based framework. Spring Web Module is one of the MVC based framework. So number of frameworks are also be available. More and more number of frameworks are available. Is it? All of you are getting it or not? Okay, fine. Leave this one. Now the point here, what I am telling there, in MVC, that means in MVC based web applications, controller is responsible to pick the request from clients and to process that request. Controller is responsible for taking the request from clients and processing that request. And viewport is responsible for generating dynamic response to the respective client with very good look and feel. Yes, sir. All of you get my point or not? Okay, before this, can you please read out this statement here, the second point here, what I given? In web applications, we will use servlets at the locations where we will take the request from clients and where we will process those requests. Next one was what there? In web applications, we will use JSPs at the locations where we will generate dynamic response to the client, dynamic responses to the client with a very good look and feel. With a very good look and feel. Okay, fine. That point is okay. Now observe carefully. In MVC based web applications, controller is responsible for taking requests from clients and processing that request. Controller is responsible for taking requests from clients and processing those requests. So in web applications, in MVC based web applications, we will use a servlet as a controller. Controller in the sense front controller. It's also we call as what there? Front controller. In MVC based web applications, controller is responsible for taking requests from clients and processing those requests. So in MVC based web applications, we will use a servlet as a controller. Next one, observe carefully. In MVC based web applications, viewport is responsible for generating dynamic response to the respective client with a very good look and feel. So in web applications, in MVC based web applications, we will use a set of JSP pages as a viewport. That's it. So maybe some people may ask a question to you. Now tell me where we are going to use servlets and where we are going to use JSPs. Their answer should be what there? As a controller, I'm going to use what there? A servlet. As a viewport, I'm going to use as what there? JSP pages. In MVC based applications. Servlets mainly for processing. JSPs mainly for what there? Presentation. Remember this. With only servlets, we are unable to prepare web applications. With only JSPs, we are unable to prepare web application. But still, the main intention of the JSP technology is what? The main purpose of the JSP technology is what? Is to reduce Java code as much as possible in web applications. Still, its intention, with that particular intention only, JSP technology was introduced. But the way developers are using servlets and JSPs are totally different. Even though JSP intention is that, but developers are not thinking about it. Developers are not thinking about. Developers are still writing servlet separately and still writing what there JSP separately. Unfortunate thing, one more thing I'm telling there, how developers are killing the JSP technology. Officially, JSP technology is saying that JSP is coming to reduce Java, to against for the Java. But our developers, what they are doing there, inside the JSP pages, they are writing Java code. Understand it? JSP is saying that I'm coming here, we can avoid Java. But what our developers are doing there, okay, you are coming, now come here. Then they will open JSP page, there they are putting Java code inside the JSP pages now. So it depends on requirements, depends on the flexibility. Developers are not at all having ethics. Remember this point. Developers are not at all having any ethics. What he required, whether it is as per the rules and regulations or not, he will not follow that. If he requires something, he will copy and paste in the application, he will debug it. That's it. Whether we are using Java code inside the JSPs or not, we are using JSPs proper. That does not at all is least bother. That's the least bother to him. Understand it? Why? Because I can say number of examples for it. MVC based applications we are talking. MVC has a number of rules and regulations. Officially, developers are saying that I'm preparing MVC based applications only, but they don't want to follow MVC rules and regulations. They will not follow MVC rules and regulations, but still they are saying that MVC based application only. I get my point or not? So only one point. We have a code or not. We compiled that code or not, no compilation error. We executed code or not, no exception. Output is coming or not, finish, my task is completed. At the end of the day, what client is required? The application is running or not, that's it. Effectively, that application is running or not. Whether you followed MVC rules and regulations or not, that doesn't matter for the client. So developers are not at all having any ethics about the technologies. Understand it clearly? Okay, right, sir, leave it. Just casual, I'm saying that point of view, but learning point of view, you have to understand each and every point. That's why I'm giving clear-cut information there now. Fine. So now examples I'm telling to you, observe carefully. Live examples I'm telling there. Struts is a MVC based web framework. Struts is what outdated. The struts is totally outdated, but example point of view I'm telling there. Struts is a MVC based web framework where action servlet is acting as a controller and a set of JSP pages are acting as a viewport. That's it. Come again. What is the point I said to you? Struts is a MVC based web framework where action servlet, a servlet, one type of servlet, action servlet is acting as a controller and a set of JSP pages are acting as what their viewport. Next one is JSF, not JSP, JSF, Java Server Faces, Java Server Pages, JSP, Java Server Faces, JSF, is a MVC based web framework where Faces servlet is acting as a controller. Faces servlet is acting as a controller and a set of JSP pages are acting as viewport. Understand my point now? Actually, you are not aware about it. Myself is very strong in both the struts and JSF now. I played with them the moment when both are having demand. By the time almost 7 to 8 years, 6 to 7 years back now, I used to give the struts of flow of execution, MVC based struts of flow of execution, the communication between all the components there. There's a hard cake in outside market. If you know only that flow, if you know that, only that flow, the direct question, interview, 3 years of experience you can give. Directly if you go to the interview, tell me what is struts of flow of execution, half an hour we can explain that, half an hour of time. If you explain that like half an hour of time there, then immediately people are giving jobs. The moment when struts is having demand, almost the struts era was there nearly 6 to 7 years of time. The struts demanded duration. By the time I was taking very good classes for struts framework. I worked with them, struts and JSF. I worked a lot. Worked in the sense, just I've taken more and more classes. It's a highly demanded one, that one previously. But when Spring framework is getting somewhat demand there, automatically struts was down and JSF is also be down. Spring is getting more demand. Understand it clearly? So by the time struts framework might be then more number of students are coming to my classes. I had very good R&D work on the struts framework. It is a product basically. Understand it clearly now? Okay, fine. Whatever it may be. So the other 2 points here we can understand. Now one more point. Try to recognize this. What is this point here? Observe this. This is one of the points here. For example, I'm asking one question to you. Try to answer for it. I have a Java program. I compiled it. I executed it. I got some output. Okay, coach. Now I perform modification over the code. I have done some modification inside the code. So what we have to do? In Java code, I have done some modification. Can I execute that program without recompilation? If I do modification in Java code, is it possible to execute that code without recompilation? If you want to reflect that modification into our actual output, you must recompile that code or not? We have to recompile that code or not? Then only we are able to get that updations. Am I right or not? Now tell me, servlets is a Java code or not? Servlets is what there? Java code. So the point what I'm telling there, if you perform modifications, on an existing code and an existing servlets code, then it is mandatory to perform recompilation and reloading of that servlet into the servers. Recompilation and reloading of that servlet into the servers to get modifications or to get updations. That's a point here. It is mandatory. Sir, got it or not? Fine. Observe carefully. One more point I'm telling you. For example, I have some HTML code. Understand, guys? What I'm telling you. I have what there? Some HTML code. If I do modification on HTML code, what we have to do to get that modification? Just refresh the browser is sufficient or not? Browser refresh is sufficient. Automatically that modification we are able to get or not? Not required to do any recompilation or this kind of things. No. Got it or not? Same point I'm telling there. If we perform modifications on an existing JSP page, then it is not required to recompile. Then it is not required to recompile and reloading of that JSP pages into the server. Why? Because JSP pages are auto loaded and auto compiled. JSP pages are what they're auto loaded and auto compiled. But servlets are not like auto loaded and auto compiled. You must perform recompilation and reloading into the server explicitly. Yes, sir. All of you are getting it or not? Okay, fine. All right, sir. Last difference. One more point here. Now try to recognize it. What is this last point here? Observe carefully. To prepare web applications, if we use only servlets, then it is not possible to separate business logic and presentation logic. Observe carefully. It is not possible to separate business logic and presentation logic. Somewhat tightly coupled design we are able to get if we use only servlets. Answer my point here. To prepare web applications, if we use only JSPs, still it is possible. If we use only JSPs, then it is possible to separate both presentation logic and business logic. Presentation logic and what next one get? Business logic. Alright, sir. Separate both presentation logic and business logic. Why? Because what is the reason for it? No. Why? Because in a JSP pages we will use, understand it, last point almost. In a JSP pages we will use HTML tags, for the presentation and JSP tags. JSP is having its own tags now, and JSP tags for the business implementation, business logic. So it's possible basically, but difference point of view I given that, but nobody will use only JSPs, nobody will use only servlets. Yes, sir. All of you are getting it or not? So this is exactly the differences between like what the servlets and JSPs, what we are getting clearly. So this topic is completed. Next one is like what the client server architecture. So this one we are going to understand clearly. So tomorrow I will cover this topic there, client server architecture. But it's a quite interesting topic. It's very important topic in web application development. Don't miss the classes, right? Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. We'll meet on tomorrow. Where? Uh, mm, mm, mm. No.